Hey, if you have any pain in your joints, ankles, hips, knees, lower back, shoulders, you're doing your sport and you kind of stuck and you don't know what's going on, listen to this one. You need more strength and you need to do less to be better. My name is Paolo and today I will explain you how strength and strength training is playing absolutely crucial and basic prevention role in everything you do. There is a forever discussion about longevity, whether more endurance or more strength is important. It's not 50-50, it's not 70-30, it's 100 and 100. They just go together. The cardiovascular activity, the endurance, will give you healthy heart to beat for you for a long time. But the strength training will give you body that will actually allow you to enjoy that time the healthy heart is giving you. If we have 80-year-old grandma on the bed and she can't get up, it is not because she's lacking cardiovascular endurance. It's because she's lacking strength. Now, we will backtrack a little bit, couple of years before that happens, and we'll talk about what can we do. We need to realize that every activity that we are doing is putting some kind of strain on our body. For endurance enthusiasts, whether you do running as a recreational run, or you are a marathon runner, ultra marathon runner, or a Hyrox, very popular now, triathlete, you need to realize that repetitiveness, even though the load doesn't seem much as you do the activity, but the repetitiveness is putting a lot of strain on your body. When you are running, there is something called ground reaction forces. That is a force that is applied to your joints and to your system in that moment when the foot is hitting the ground. Because running has a flying phase, which means both feet are off the ground or off the floor. The impact you getting through your joints and to your system, even by contracting the muscles, you are putting some impact on your system. That can be 2, 3.5 times your body weight. So imagine a marathon runner who will run 42,000 meters with let's say 42,000 steps, which is not true because the step is more likely way shorter. If he is doing 42,000 steps, 2 to 2.5 times of his body weight impact on the joints of ankle, knee, and hip, and possibly lower back, that will show somewhere if the body is not ready for that impact. A lot of triathletes have a lower back pain. A lot of runners have what they call stiff hip flexor, which is usually just a little bit weaker hamstring, and the hip flexor is compensating for that. But that would be going a little bit too technical now. What we need to realize is that this impact can't be prevented. That is already happening. So what we need to do is actually make our structure, our body, ready to take that impact and be able to absorb it properly. First of all, having a good technique isn't bad. Secondly, having strong legs, strong calves, strong glutes will absolutely help to prevent this. If somebody is running 6 times a week but is doing no strength training whatsoever, it will show somewhere eventually. I know this is very scary for a lot of endurance athletes, but you need to do less of your endurance training and you need to build some muscle. I was also dealing with an opinion that putting more muscle means heavier body and therefore the forces will be way higher. However, that muscles are what keeps you together and that prevents all that pain. So you need to throw out that fear. If you're doing something for 10, 15 years or just a couple of years and it's progressively not really getting better and it's leading to a problem, maybe it's time to change something and try a different approach. If you're running 6 times a week, just dial it down, run 4 times, and do 2 strength training sessions. If you do it right, I can guarantee you that it will improve your performance. You'll get stronger, you will get better recovery, you will be able to take more load. If it's that scary, okay, do one strength training session a week. At least 20% of your work should be done as a compensation work and strength training for supporting the overall system and body's load capacity. So the ability to bear that impact that you are putting on it through your sport. Very important part is also to do it the right way. So resistant bands and doing some planks in front of a TV at night is not really going to cut it. It needs to be proper strengthening with loading big muscle groups in a way that will actually help you to get better at your sport, whatever that might be. It is not about doing less for sake of doing less. It is not about doing more for sake of doing more. It's about finding the right balance and the ratio that will actually make you improve on the long term. If you are already in pain when you are 30, 35, 40, and you are not planning to change anything, what do you think will happen when you'll be 70 or 75? You need the strength to carry yourself not only next couple of years. You want to be able to bend and let's say pick up your grandchildren also when you're 75. I hope so. I believe so. So this technical part of today's video is over. Now I'll just go on and I'll share a couple of stories of my clients and people I watched to deal with exactly this problem. So I'll go through their stories so you can take it as an inspiration. I also have these people as a reminder of how important the strength training is and kind of a living proof of what can be done and what can be improved, even if it doesn't seem to make sense at the beginning. The first one, I will call her A, and she was a triathlete who approached me after doing her half Ironman. Her half Ironman didn't really went terrible, but it also didn't go great because she was able to finish it and she was happy she finished. However, it took her really long time to recover. I would say the proportion of the time it took her to recover from that half Ironman wasn't really even worth trying it at that time. Her preparation was running, biking and swimming, which is logical for a triathlon event. However, that was not enough. She approached me that this happened. She had a lot of lower back pain after finishing it, which, by the way, was not only from the biking, it was actually from running mostly, but it's a whole universe, it's all together. It's always influencing each other. And she came to me around June, July, that in following April, she wants to do a full Ironman, but she felt really broken after the last half Ironman. When we started to work on it for first months, I believe up till October, so maybe 4-5 months, she was not biking, she was not rowing, and she was swimming to keep her cardiovascular capacity and to have some kind of active recovery on those long swims. We rebuilt her structure, we rebuilt her legs, her glutes, her lower back stopped hurting, and eventually she was able to finish the Ironman, even though she didn't finish the one in the following year because the following year was 2020 and there were some events going around the world that didn't allow her to finish it, but she kept the program, she kept improving, and eventually she fulfilled her dream and she finished the Ironman. Another story, I'll call this guy B. B is a teenager who approached me because he was having some pain and discomfort in his shoulder when he was doing jiu-jitsu. This guy, extremely motivated, it's an ideal person to work with. Very driven, very motivated. Whatever I said, he was doing. He was eager to do homework and accessories, and whatever I gave him, he was following through 100%. After a couple of weeks, he was able to improve his posture and the pain disappeared. It wasn't overcomplicated. It was just certain strain from certain positions put on him for a prolonged time, so body started to speak to him, and when we compensated for that with 1 or max 2 sessions a week and maybe 15-minute work a day, he was just ready to go and pain-free. Another story, I'll call this guy C. C approached me when he was not able to enjoy and play tennis as much as he would like to because his feet were hurting, he hurt his lower back, his knee was a little bit off. Basically all the chain, all the joints were just showing up to be a little bit problematic, but he really enjoyed playing tennis. What we found out that the tennis was the only thing he had ever really done. He was never doing any proper gym before, and it led to a lot of imbalances because he was only doing one activity and not compensating for it at all, no strength background, and it led to a lot of pain. He dialed down on the tennis. He did first 2 strength training sessions a week, and now he's back to playing and enjoying in a way that he never thought will be possible, because he thought that because of his age it will always only go downhill. But that doesn't need to be the case. If you do the right stuff with the right ratio of supporting activity to your main activity, easy. You can really go to distances you never thought will be possible. Especially if you're dealing with a long-term chronic pain, it's just very annoying, and you're not really thinking about how I will be able to progress further up. You're just trying to, the mindset, the overall mindset usually is that people just trying to frame it in a way like how not to make it even worse. But it can get better. You just need to be willing to step back first so you can do 2 steps up. Story of a last guy. We will call him D. D came after his ACL repair surgery, which happened when he was playing cricket. He was only playing cricket, not doing any supporting activity, and his body, with all the changes of direction, just said enough, and his ACL popped. After all the rehab activities, we start to work on strengthening the structure properly, and now he's back playing cricket. Yes, it took time. He was out of cricket for 8 to 10 months. However, when it was cricket here and strength training here, we dropped the cricket, increased the strength training, and now the ratio is coming back to even, maybe even more on the side of the cricket. So he is back into what he loves and what he wants to do, and the boring gym stuff is becoming just an accessories. However, this is a great life example of that you need to take that first step back, reassess, see what's the best for you in a given situation, and maybe then you can start working towards better performance. Most of the time, people somewhere inside, they actually know what is needed. It's just so hard for them to get pulled away from their sport and start to work on the overall body capacity to be able to manage and take the impact from the sport. But it's all in the head, and if you are doing for such a long time something that is not going the way you want, just stop, reassess, and try to see it with an open mind that, okay, maybe I'll dial it down a little bit for some time, but I will eventually be able to come back better and stronger. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, any ideas, or any of your stories, let me know down in the comments, and see you next time.